So I've never heard about men getting pregnant. I've never heard about this argument. It must be some part of what you call the far left that is so minuscule that I, who am...
No, Jane.
What?
It's not minuscule, and I'm sorry, you can't throw this back on us. I assume it's because you are locked into media that just never wants anyone in their audience to know anything sketchy about the blue team.
Bill Maher completely destroyed Jane Fonda's woke talking points in the most recent episode of Club Random, and it was hilarious. Fonda entered believing that every word she said would be stolen from another echo chamber podcast. Rather, she encountered Ma, the anti-woke sniper himself, directly. Locked, loaded, and prepared to destroy her story. Let's get started.
About a garage door?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that is...
No, you know this about California. Come
No,
on.
I don't.
Well,
I'm sorry, I don't.
You've never heard that California is overtaxed and overregulated? That we are a one-party state where there's sort of no checks on that sort of extreme leftism. And that, what do you think?
I don't for a minute consider California a state that is extreme leftist. Not at all, not any way.
Well, that shows where your politics are.
That demonstrates your political stance. This has a lot to unpack. Jane Fonda has essentially forgotten what the real world looks like since she lived so enmeshed in the Hollywood bubble. For so long, she had been surrounded by self-congratulating campaigners, flashing cameras, and studio clapping that she began to mistake the movie set for reality. In her world, moral grandstanding is mistaken for wisdom, and slogans take the place of reason. Oh, but Maher isn't having any of it. He's going to seize a sharp piece of reality and smash that bloated Hollywood fantasy, bringing Fonda back to earth, where genuine people live, work, and face consequences. Take out your popcorn. This one is going to be awful.
Became the birthers, they became the Tea Party. There's about a third of this country that's very hard right.
Mm-hmm.
Of course they love Trump. When he left office, he had an approval rating of 34%. So he really only had those people.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he now like tied? Because the other part of the coalition are people who, they don't really like him that much. They just think the far left has gone so nutty on so many issues.
That's what they're being told.
That's what they...
By people like you.
Because it's true. You think the far left does nothing crazy?
Oh, I'm sure they do.
As these two prepare to face off, you can almost feel the tension in the room crackling. Before the verbal blows begin to fly, there is that electric quiet. This is where the irony really lies, though. Jane Fonda accuses Maher of saying that the far left is going mad in a single sentence. She then acknowledges that they are truly going insane. Traditional. Using the double standard is essentially a far-left tactic. Deflect, deny, and then unintentionally confirm your opponent's point. It's similar to witnessing a live example of the height of political hypocrisy. Ma is aware of it. The audience is aware of it. And the hard road will soon be shown to Fonda. Anyway, let's continue.
Who is the far left? What do you mean when you say far left?
I mean, I could give you a million examples.
Yeah, well, give me one.
Okay, the NAACP.
You think the NAACP is far
Could I
left?
finish my sentence?
Yes.
You asked me for an example.
Yeah.
Travel advisory, that's like the State Department does to go to, I'm sure when you went to Vietnam, they were advising you not to. There's a war on it.
I didn't talk to them. I don't have no...
I know, but you know a travel advisory.
Yeah.
Today we have them for very dangerous countries.
Yeah.
Don't go to North Korea. Don't go to Iran.
Yeah.
You know where they issued a travel advisory for black people not to go?
Yeah.
Florida. Every day there's stories like that that just makes people roll their eyes and go, are you people nuts? Even if they don't matter that much, I don't think one person listened to this and thought, I can't go to Florida. But they just suggest something to the average person, which I completely understand, which is, wow, do you people ever find anything that's ridiculous?
So, being awake is more than just a philosophy or a person. It is a whole ideology. One that permeates every aspect. Entertainment, politics, culture, and even how people believe they can express themselves. It's an ideology that rewrites history to fit a sentimental narrative, openly declares war on common reason, and turns science into activism. Information becomes optional. Emotion becomes the new truth and logic becomes obnoxious. That is the main source of the issue. Equality is no longer the main focus. It's about using moral intimidation to gain control. Ma could have done a better job of emphasizing that point. Yes, he made a suggestion, but he refrained from actually firing the shot. Perhaps he is cautious so as not to offend his liberal readership. However, someone must state it clearly. Progress is not what woke culture is, reason is slowly being undermined.
You really think men can get pregnant? You know, that kind of stuff. And I understand that a trans woman can get pregnant. That's different than a man getting pregnant. Insist on blurring that line as if that's some sort of reasonable social cause, as opposed to just being for having full rights, respect, and protection for trans people.
Not at all. Transgender women are unable to conceive, that is simply the reality of biology. However, Maher is quite correct when he states that the trans movement should prioritize defending liberties and rights over changing scientific facts. Demanding respect is not the same as asking everyone to give up reason in order to support an ideology. When the movement promotes concepts that are at odds with fundamental biology, such as the idea that males can give not at all, transgender women are unable to conceive. That is simply the reality of biology. However, Maher is quite correct when he states that the trans movement should prioritize defending liberties and rights over changing scientific facts. Demanding respect is not the same as asking everyone to give up reason in order to support an ideology. The movement loses credibility when it promotes beliefs that are at odds with fundamental biology, such as the notion that gender is unrelated to sex or that men are capable of giving birth. Equality is not advanced by such radicalism. It causes division among those who could otherwise be allies. The true way ahead is to uphold individual liberties, guarantee dignity, and encourage candid communication rather than regulating language, stifling dissent, disputing, humiliating, and imposing one's opinions on others. Doing so only serves to incite retaliation and prevents the open debate that society sorely needs.
I've never heard about men getting pregnant. I've never heard about this argument. It must be some part of what you call the far left that is so minuscule that I, who am...
No, Jane,
What?
It's not minuscule, and I'm sorry, you can't throw this back on us. I assume it's because you are locked into media that just never wants anyone in their audience to know anything sketchy about the blue team.
And the hammer blow was right there. Compared to a politician caught on camera, Jane Fonda attempted to change course more quickly. She alternates between arguing for the far left and acting as though she has never heard the claim that a male can become pregnant. Jane, really? For years, that line has been chanted on all woke talk shows, college campuses, and social media accounts. You cannot act as though it doesn't exist. She then attempted to wriggle after realizing she had confined herself out of it by claiming that the woke left only makes up a very small portion of the Democratic Party. Maher, however, didn't buy it. He shattered her bubble with a single incisive answer, reminding her that this is no longer a fringe belief, the current left uses it as standard rhetoric. Everything was revealed in that instant. On live camera, the denial, the spin, and the last-ditch effort to alter reality, okay.
And that's...
I mean, I don't know. I read two papers, and maybe I don't. I should watch Fox News.
No,
I guess.
I don't watch that. That's too far. But you don't have to. I'm not going to torture myself.
At that point, Jane Fonda essentially conceded defeat, and the discussion finally cooled off. She remarked that she now wished she had watched more Fox News while huddled and clearly uncomfortable, but it told it all in that instant. It wasn't merely a casual remark. She unintentionally admitted that she had been living in an echo box. She had been protected for years by her Hollywood bubble from the uncensored discussions taking place in the real world on mainstream media, social media sites as well as at regular dining tables. Reality was going on without her as she was occupied with floating in a pool of adulation from like-minded elites. Ma just drew back the curtain. She also saw for the first time how disconnected that world had grown. Sometimes the truth only needs to burst the bubble, it doesn't have to shout.
Certainly has been the history of this country, was police who were all too willing to shoot black people. So defund the police, though, was not a good idea. And you know who mostly didn't think it was a good idea was black people, because they want police in their neighborhoods, probably more than we need them in ours.
That's the issue with woke culture, then. It thrives on impulsivity rather than reflection. The most vocal people hardly ever pause to consider the long-term effects of their demands or actions. They simply follow the trend till it changes and the same individuals who were yelling slogans start acting as though they never did. Consider the campaign to defund the cops. A few years ago, for instance, activists, many of whom were from the black community, were yelling it from every street corner, treating it like the ultimate moral position. As we move forward to the present, realism has set in. Neighborhoods grew less safe, crime increased, and now those same communities, possibly more than anyone else, are realizing the true importance of law enforcement. It serves as a harsh reminder that following trends in virtue signaling without taking into account the repercussions frequently does harm to the same individuals they are meant to defend. What does this mean for Democrats, then, at a crossroads, to be honest? They have two options: either they wake up, refocus, and actually fight on the issues that matter, crime, the economy, immigration, and foreign policy, because Republicans are currently dominating those fields and voters are noticing, or they continue to cling to anti-Trump hysteria, intensify their culture wars, and nominate candidates who are ineffective at winning over voters. Furthermore, let's face it, if Democrats can't win when Trump's numbers are down, families are still being affected by inflation, and turmoil is evident, then perhaps Bill Maher is correct. It's possible that the party is losing more than just an election. It might be headed for extinction. What do you think, then? Is this book by K.L.A. Harris just another excuse-filled failure? Do you believe that Democrats can make a difference before it's too late? Or are we witnessing the gradual disintegration of a gathering that's forgotten what it stands for? Let me share your opinions in the comments section. I would be very interested in knowing your thoughts on this. Please remember to hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this one,